Bene, welcome to this morning's town hall update here. OPVP and President Duncan Nez and others, Vice President here. We have so many things to give to you this morning. Shea Myron Lizer, Comanche Nishlan, Tolhanen Bashes Chin, Auto Comanche Deshache, Clash Chidashanel. It's good to be with you this morning. As you know, we use this town hall method on Facebook here live, and it's good to see you all. I hear you're coming in from everywhere, Farmington, a little bit of communities all over, Window Rock, Chinle, Rough Rock, Round Point. It's good to Round Rock. It's good to see you all out there. But let us first open up in prayer. I have a meeting here I got to get on at 10:30 here, so I'll give you a little bit more information on that. Yeah, Shadi and God. Holy God, we thank you for another day of life. We thank you, Lord, that we can come to you, Father, for everything, Lord, but most of all, Lord, salvation. We thank you that we can ask you to come onto our scene, Lord. You know everything. And as you assist us, Lord, Father, you're there with your strong right hand, Lord. You protect us, you guide us, you charge your angels to watch care over us, Lord. We thank you for that. We ask you again for your wisdom, Father, in which to conduct this meeting. Let the knowledge and the information go out, Lord, to bless the people in the land. We thank you. Yeah, give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So once again, this is our town hall biweekly update. We'll have another one Thursday evening as well, chiming in there with the KTN radio station as well. So we thank you. Real quick update. I do need to get on a call, very important call at 10:30 here. And President also will have some great information, some updates, and even Arvin Mitchell from our Census 2020 will be giving you our vital updates, and not only on the extension of the census count, but also on our numbers. Are very much neat to have everyone counted across the land. So if you haven't been counted yet, please do so. And Arvin will highlight the ways you can do it. There's 4 ways. So anyway, I won't steal his thunder, but right now I do need to get on a call here. 10:30 with the Deputy Secretary of the United States Department of Transportation. His name is, oh gosh, what is his name? I thought I had all that information. Oh, Lauren Smith, I'm sorry, Deputy Secretary for Department of Transportation. We'll be discussing the bill grant that was awarded to San Juan County, and and for said Four Corners Economic Development, $2 million bill grant to study feasibility on the railroad that could potentially come from that region, namely NAPI, on Navajo Agricultural Products Industry region, right there, rail spur coming on down the 491 corridor to Gallup, New Mexico. But again, these are just studies, but it's been a project, it's been talked about for years. Different administrations have taken it, and Nez Lizer certainly would love to see it come to fruition. President Jonathan Nez and myself, we did sign an MOU with San Juan County and Four Corners Economic Development to look and see what this might look like. And here we are, a $2 million grant, and we're looking forward to seeing it come to fruition. It'll mean a lot of things. It'll mean jobs for not only construction, but also the industry and the manufacturing that would soon follow afterwards. So really great opportunity, and look forward to learn more, but we'll chime in here in a couple of minutes with the U.S. Department of Transportation. Very important. So just wanted to give you a quick update. I do have to get on that call, and just want to introduce you to our president, who's been displaying exemplary leadership in this fight against COVID-19. You know, there's so many different aspects of it, and namely, he's got a handle on all of them with the help of our cabinet and, so many, our department, our HCOC and our Department of Health, looking at data, analyzing it, and what does that mean? And what you see is usually relayed here on this important town hall platform. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Navajo Nation, Jonathan Nez. Sir, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. This is Jonathan Nez, and we're good. We're good. All right. Although here Shana, Vice President Myron and also everyone that's going to be doing the town holiday Tuesday. Na kijinda nishona don lady jinda nishona kota hanet nijegundeli na kijinda nishona binigo nezna ol killa. Ado dijinda nishona ya hastra ol killa kota ngai shkira shna kota o hanegi ya nija ndel into lana mish halande johanna ya kodo nija kondeli nishpada hazimbo lefto mish mishigi ngalchin kodo adel inigi kodo banda huilna kuich shanley radio be at KTNN hanet nija kondel inla ado bin godo the news be kodo hanet nija kondeli so hot ele hannegia nihilpeda hazzen dolle ligi jo kodo banda huilna jo bahanna do shano do ya jinne hatnigi jo kodo nihija ashanen del inshikashidna adet da isunol tsagi akon lego trazdaga tlata hanne do khut da hanne da ishi ya nihilpeda hazzen dolle kodo ya nan leti da sad nas kodilla ana hikeni hidna kode khut ya shicha honne do khut an honne da bidi no khoni hikeni hidna da hashke god ibni nai adne da ismal tsagin hika ochje joba da hashna kodo na antindo sad ado nan leti ko nihikeni hidna bicha ashana dalleta so hot ashike shidna so ishi negi ko bicha ashana na bilna to leltiche dana ashla ol kiloi ya hana nihije kunanalia alla nezadin do ba anhast e demelia ja alla nezadin do ba tse bidin do ba alla nelt iko hikeni hinne yan das kha ado di kosentragi del khagi ya zel in bandlingi ili ha ishin nezo di tesbe dal in de chinkuna date sihi ado shi nhi ni biyet hot yan del kha ana handai thi hot yan le kodo
that mic's
how are we doing? We good? Eli? All right. Yeah, I usually do the town hall from home and was at the office today signing some documents, and Vice President and I will be traveling to Nappy. There's a dividend check that's going to be presented, and also be meeting with some allottees today in that area. And the reason why I'm wearing a mask is there are staff in this room, and when we're at home we don't wear masks because we're all by ourselves in our home, and so that's why we don't wear masks at home. So today I'm wearing a mask because we got staff here following the CDC protocol. Bashnagi ya daskha to tesadal inigia ya di huchi kone di ha ishi nezo lego na ida se lashin hilpeda hazan Ado khni gun ado ade inat ado ben delkha. Ishi di chostoit ini ha ishi doit iniki e jon delkha. Ado ibnach eberzen. Die de kostentragina hast eits da also nehlo dort da go also ja do nehlo da jo die gige le ja ich ni gun do die gige ja ich ni le epobi do Oktober gaje ja die de kostentragina hast eits da dort nagi nahast Dort ne znaje, ne zna de mil yaje, ne zna de mil yaje do ba ti ne zna tin do ashlatin do ba ti enelt au ekon an das ka do sai ich das ka ja in hilbe das tsebi de mil yaje do ba na kenezatin do ba tsebetin do ba nast enelt kon yat das lin hik hidna so benach kodo be hadainolne hadainolni do ben hitzil hik enolni Ado nezatin do ba shlatin do ba nast enelt kon hik hidna de kostentrage bezado adajitten kon akedan lingi batsodilzen do beka nature do le hik do shidna ka nature do hilin del nasho hot tskinlago di nasnigi bichdi khatn so bantas kesh do shidna Ade hagan has ade da holja ado di chishin da hochje da do ne dan hit no kodosa ni hit kodalia ni massan ni hit she ni hinal ni mado ni je la she andi hot an hit yada tie la she do hot an hit yada tie dan de ya kanta johan ni je kodel ne sai hot ya roshia ho da da nind jo kodo han ni je kodel na antinigi ben ich zil do le do be hadainol ni do le benach ni hit zil on naste ni krato le den ni tlin kodo ba nashna kuich banda huilne kida na antine jadi nasnegin le kida de kuishin de zede da na tin tratin disdin na khaya da shlatin da na khaya da di nasni di chostoit ini kon na khaishni de kuishi sa le na di na khaya da ya di na also with ado nashni hat no could ya ishni the navike apakat akonde alka nature do shishin del nasho beach inikre ado kadnana di de kostentragi na hast eits ata je ebeni na hitishne hadainolne alka nacha Ada hagan has Ado only Washington don hikun tsaga hotzan bichada do ita. Ani hibinocha. Sai andi tahu ejit ego nene ina antinigi bedat. Shi olya khwa. Biji rako. Beaches do graslo da ha ishi ada ni kije nda annashigi jun de bahandishni di kon de kosentragi bikije de ba aro sado da hatna peso peso hat noda. Jo peso de oyo basa hallehi haganas anende ahota. Peso halongo ya jo ba ho jiliango jo ai jo chojo ongo la la lanche peso hue londo le jo ota jo kon ya le Washington ne peso de adi jinje benda anash le ani do kodo sa shiche kolia a la kadla enta besle chi shiche kolia ba he ni zin ha no kodo sa ni hiche kondali ni hido ba he ni zin odin do kodo nas kodo nish hat ne do ai benda anash jo dishnit asad do yat ya kodo bayadat uyol kije yadelti da sitli ha ishin binina wala bilagana kachde ya aj Washington da hon nesen da kaden kode ni hikeya bakade bayat Johnny Dikon joye peso chide do alla nache hat ne arabe la zlinta al chinde go peso be la zlin trande zidne la ahot de ya benda annstole kot ya la da aslin hinat ani dan lenigi akok adichi je da hastrat at da hanelt ya benan nishigi adat den do lel beninagi di aro ya la da aslingi kanda aden na ne chahalet josh da dil nicht da no ba yeltje akon ich besh ba an binti di alla nachego peso chindet agi yela da asli gogo ein khan jon dolle chendishni akonde do nasko de leta oni hilbersen dolle what an da an shota kodoi oni na di peso de da noda yada tje kodoi na an shigisha ade ni keni hinna pana an shigi ya jota dil nicht schnoye kodo nast chkedo shna ado dido nakhalchin de nede yoltra ya census bana alte do le September 30th be ninde akonde le Washington because naltsos delian le golde konna de ya anohit ahin lenigi ania binti at edo le October 31st di gaje yol kalona izilona 31st gonna ajet dolel hatoni ba henitsen so ebeni nai kodo ndishni yujo ba deini kid hadat dolle census je nikhalchindo bichashane dalle nakha jo behozno de nebikia pakao benache peso nihije chendeta judi ni peso nihije chedet anaya de kwila nelt edne nitle tra nezna tindo ba shlatin de milja jedat akonna il kilota de nitlini akonde snigone alla nezna tindo ba tsebi Sabedin do ba ashlat de milja genelt out ya koni kenhine o de belagana keyate kedahat de nedan leo nachalchindan le hikedan le jo yesi la ade kedahat inigi san hije kudayilla de on hilbeda azandolle belada olle person hije jadot ala no ota Lashio ani which in the hasti, Chedat ella. Kodo keda wheat inigido, Chedat ella. O Eban today kesota. A codi beso chedet anaya. A start that is ladin the meal sohonelt beso equa bashed nitnel. So bayest kegi tradnes not in doba. Ashladin de mil yagenelt die ashladin de mil peso past en do nigi de quisha enige na peso biche kudoni banso kes do so peso biche kudo do nilda jo chindo bakaya jo edo banse de kes do jo hal hashit jo di kun enige na Bacadicha, Nigi, Ebonina, a compes the chi, which a codolni, Twodanas codolni, Dicon Chin Ahagan, the Haz Trago, the Altraya, computers, traded ja, Con Halchin, Sadon dal Nesta, Beninagi, internet that egitla do beda halloda ako eshido ban so kes ajla beso bab ba ni nel ahada na hota benda annasho klai kodo na tain dan linigi di beso andi osan nel da no da yadatke doni yikao jeta ndishni Besle chin geen lego tradi kraho date nicht beda hasan ade chian de ni ade nicht nicht de nadan nicht nat an yesha do date ida dan jo nicht $1,000 nicht nicht de nadan nigi eshin benina adan do Di beso chida dot atligi do le chapters and does nalo beso chida dot atla. Do in hikanda chata da no da yata athe. Bini na nicht dishne ade dinosaur sagi sho. Not ani. Beken so z. Do not ani bich yata athe. Which ashane dalle nihinat a. Sashe only belagana bekeyat keda hot ind. Le shanda atleho ndakhe. Sashe yanle belagana bekeyat ndak an keda hot inigi. How shin dish nelt nebekeya pakat the shin winsen. A con neint zago do ein le tranas nelle handa atleho ade tra nahata behanda zo neint zago haide nidole a kohot dado nidole johota ebini na ekodo nihika nacha do e peso de yada alsko nahata Det är bansas kesta hat noda. Ako peso ni hije da at hat ni gonta ade khayu ade han ni hije ko dalia. Ako ni bahashnegiya. Di alla nache. Peso chindet agi ni Washington il walto hat nigi. Etan don da bana hat ida. Ce wat ni masani hi cheni nala wat abka na alwa ako aje tendon da bayat kita ha ila benina jo wat aban ban sada keso dishna Lashe ay tabk en daltkhal. Ha got ashich ha na ha shich ha o zi shin huin zenda. Junat ani jilli go hot ay yajiltio. O yo hashkeji yajiltio hot ay ya hwasla shito ni. Just cheya XT Donald beshbahas an lo beshbahas an hot yadal kindal kita tashin hilbeda hazan. O yo hashkejo yo yego na antinigi ye handa zilenda. Kareten o sada hallo. Ha ede sada huil no de bane krisitli ha elebenin. Nije o intoni na antine bida huil za. Nije o intoni na antine doni hizade ya kon niltadi na niltsko dadi akonde bilagana bizza bilagana kachide yakoje benach naste nika. Jahagan dasti trayak adijinje. Nakhalchina ade. Ndahastra kad na antine biche kodalle. Keda na antine. Hashkeje na antine. Na antin be hadaino snigi benda no tina. Kona khalchin chibin shra. Biche de shala ishi. Shiche na hot igida nido le nasko johota. Shikero shidna. So let me go through the updates for the C19, the COVID-19. 109,181 have tested thus far. Positive tests, 93,000. I'm sorry. Negative tests, 93,927. Positive tests, 10,454. So we had an increase in 24 hours by 11. So we saw the spike a couple of weeks ago. And because of staying at home, wearing our mask, reminding each other not to gather, birthday parties and religious gatherings without a mask or using CDC protocols, we brought the number down. So thank you so much for abiding by the public health orders here on the Navajo Nation. 7,278 have recovered from COVID, and 559 of our Navajo relatives have left us because of the complications of COVID-19. And our thoughts and prayers go out to those families. And let's continue to wear our masks. Let's continue to social distance. And that means still at home, right? No birthday parties. Please don't sneak away. You see, we're seeing increases in cases all around us in the States. And so far, numbers are flattening out in others. Like Utah is starting to kind of flatten out, come down. And New Mexico and Arizona flattening out. So, when you're out there, if you do out there, you're working out there, wear your mask, take a hand sanitizer, be aware of your surroundings, 6 feet, social distancing. There's no vaccine. So it's upon all of us to start following these protocols as we go amongst ourselves in the nation. And some are going to leave. And some are going to return to their homes. And if that's the case, then we need to always remember to wear a mask, especially around our elders. Right? I know it's going to be hard. But we just gotta continue to do our very best in social distancing. So, and the census, I want to give you some good news. The census, took the feds to court again. Sounds like a reoccurring theme with this administration, taking them to court with CARES Act and now with census and then voters. But voting rights. The census, so the census office was beginning to close down because they wanted to close early, which was September 30th. But we joined in a lawsuit to make sure that they stay with the original date. The original date is October 31st. And so the court ruled that they need to stay open and then don't close down until October 31st. So we were victorious in that, but we see that there is going to be a appeal, and so it's going to be on the judge once again. But right now, we're targeting October 31st. So let's continue to do census. I know we said September 30th. Now, because of the judge action, it's open back up. Let's keep going. Who knows? The judge might close it down. So it's right now is the best time to self-respond before a possible change, or maybe it will go through the October 31st. Who knows? So as of today, 22% of our Navajo people have responded. This is the response rate. The agency response rate, I don't know if Eli, were you able to put it up? Okay, Eli will put up the agency breakdown. So the agency response rate as of October 4th, 2020, 25.4% of our people from Fort Defiance Agency, and then Fort Defiance Agency, you're up there on top, and then Chinle Agency at 17.7%. Come on, Chinle Agency. Western Agency at 21.9. Eastern Agency, remember Eastern Agency a few weeks ago was way down there. Because of many of the outreach with the council's outreach, with our office's food distribution outreach, and many others that are out there, especially in New Mexico, and those organizations are doing an awesome job with Arbin Mitchell at the census here, and it got up 23.2%. They're almost catching up with Fort. 21.9% in Northern Agency. So that is the current as of October 4th breakdown. I know it's like, wow, we were just at 19 last week, and now we're barely at 2022. It does go up slow because we're a big nation. We have a large population. You've seen how many people were signing up at our food and supply distribution. Yeah, you might think, man, it's going to move up quick, but we're such a large nation. That's why it just slowly goes up. But it's up to us. We can do this at home and self-respond. Let's shoot for 30-40%. I was saying 50% at one point. I think that's a doable goal if we can just all get the message out to our Navajo citizens. All right. And I want to also give you some good news about voter registration here in Arizona. The federal judge said that the deadline is October 23rd. So, we were saying voter registration might end soon. Now we know it is extended into October 23rd. So we need to register to vote. This is a very important election. And please get everyone that's 18 years and older to register to vote. So the new deadline is October 23 in Arizona. to register to vote. And so on, we've been getting invitations from candidates. Obviously, we've gotten invitations as the president and vice president to meet up with candidates, and they want to, share their platform and share their ideas. And we, being the biggest tribe in the United States, we are a swing state here in Arizona. And so Navajo could be that voting bloc that can change the course of this election. Not just for Congress, not just for the counties, but all the way up to the United States presidency. So it is important that you register to vote and you vote, and early votes. So on Thursday, we are going to give you information about the early voting. And early voting starts tomorrow. And so tomorrow, I will be voting to start off the early voting campaign. And we'll be here in Window Rock as well. And you'll see that most likely tomorrow in the morning, if not in the afternoon. So I did, on behalf of the Navajo people, get invited with 5 other tribal leaders. There's only 5 tribal leaders that were invited to a roundtable discussion with presidential candidate Joe Biden and vice president candidate Kamala Harris. And it's very rare that people get to meet both presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate. And so tomorrow, me and Thursday, 4 other leaders of tribes in the state of Arizona will be meeting with Vice President Biden and also Kamala Harris. And just to let you know, invitation to the Navajo Nation and the president. So we'll be there on your behalf. The other thing that I want to let everybody know too is that, when Vice President Leiser met with the president, he had to take a COVID-19 test, right? Because you're going to meet the President of the United States. And so these top candidates have those types of requirements. So yesterday, I went once again to Gallup Indian Medical Center and took a COVID-19 tests and the rapid tests and then the other tests. And so those tests came back negative. And so I am cleared to meet these 2 leaders on Thursday. So just to be transparent, just to let you know, that's happened yesterday and was cleared with a negative COVID-19 test so that we can meet with presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate on Thursday. Now, there have been many people that are wanting to know what's up with the legislation, And some of you probably saw the press release that came out of the council delegate's office, and they said they want us to consider approving the chapter allocation. The chapter allocation. Because the chapters are in need of resources as well. I know that there's people out there that were saying, don't fund the chapters, but they are our political subdivisions, right? And so that press release came out. So if you got something add to that discussion, then send it over to the council as well. And then the other is the per cap. No, I shouldn't say per cap. Forgive me for saying that. The need-based relief funds, and that's legislation that came to our desk. And we're talking about this, and we're not stalling on this. We're just wanting to know, if it does get signed, how will it be administered? You know, issuing out thousands, tens of thousands of checks takes a lot of resources. And at the initial discussion, the initial approval was $49 million, almost $50 million. And the legislation says $1,500 adult and $500 for a child. And so if you were just to do adults, 50 million would fund about a little bit over 30,000 people. Then that's not counting children. So if you got children on that, of course, the adult number would go down. And so not everybody would be assisted. You know, I know that people are throwing documents in front of us saying, well, this has not been spent. A lot of those projects have been encumbered. And I'll give you one example. NTUA, you saw our press releases. NTUA is connecting people from the power line into the home. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They're using their own money right now because of the slowness of our finance system here on the Navajo Nation. And so NTUA about a week ago told us we can't be doing this any longer. They've been fronting their own dollars to get these power lines, thinking that they're going to hurry up and get those dollars that were allocated to them. And so we need those dollars to go through the system. And, everybody's blaming whoever. I know how politics goes. But at the end of the day, we need a whole partnership, not about blaming people or throwing people under the bus. It's all about the Navajo people. People need electricity. People need water line. Our students, you saw pictures of students trying to get internet access. And then people just need to understand that some of those dollars are obligated already. It doesn't show on the reports, but those are projects that are being completed as we speak. And then there's a perception that there's a big old pot of money that's not going to be spent, And I hate for people to get this false hope that every single Navajo people, there's about 350,000 of us, is going to get a check. I hate to give that false impression, especially if we do all these projects and maybe only 50 million gets done. So that's only 30,000 of our citizens. And what's going to happen there? People are going to be upset again once that money is gone, and they're not going to be getting it. That should be something that you all need to be aware of. And plus, if we do sign this law, it's all under the same office, the Office of the Controller, that has been having a difficult time getting monies out. And I just want to be straight with you all. The Office of the Controller, the Controller is overseen by the council, works at the pleasure of the council. And so we are looking at ways, how do we get the message out? They said that there's going to be an internet portal where you just type in the internet, and who's going to be able to apply, right? It's people with internet access. So how do we go out and make sure grandma, grandpa, Nully man, Nully lady, we living out in the rural with no broadband and electricity is able to sign up? Do we use our programs, our senior citizen programs, to get out there and help them? But then while we're helping them, the money's over here, first come, first serve, starts going down. You see, those are things that we're discussing right now about equity and folks that are really, really in need. And our students, our college students out there, most of them are back home. Most of them don't have the best internet service as well. See, that's why we put some money aside to increase the broadband and make that better. So we are talking about how, if this legislation gets enacted, how it will be rolled out. Because if it doesn't roll out quick, you guys are going to be upset again. And we just don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that if this is the direction that we want to go, then it's doable. People that are saying, sign it, leaders that are saying that, they don't understand the breakdown of what needs to occur to make this happen. You know, and don't get me wrong. I know that there's a lot of Navajos throughout the world that are financially in need. Those dollars, if this legislation gets approved, those dollars will go off the nation. And they get spent for, it's supposed to be for relief. It's not for a brand new TV. And people that are going to be applying are going to be signing an affidavit that's going to say, this money that I'm receiving is going to be used for this purpose only, and it's on everyone. And who knows? I don't know about the taxes on that. They say no taxes, but you know, this administration has given us money early on in this pandemic with the income tax. You know what? We're going to still have to pay that back after the pandemic. So those are things that people just don't know. Everybody's just looking at, you know, getting these resources out, but it's going to be a big task. So we are looking at it, ladies and gentlemen. And we're not just sitting on it. We're making sure that this program, if that's the program we're going to use, is efficient and is able to serve those that are in need. All right, so I'll stop there. There's two legislations that, the one was for the chapter houses, right? Chapter, oh gosh, I don't have that copy. The chapter houses and some money to the controller's office so that they can do their tasks. And we also have the allocation of $49 million to the people. And it says, yes, if there's any unspent money by a certain time, it goes into that pot. But these projects are already moving forward. What if all these projects get completed and then you're only left with $49 million? That's only going to get about a little bit over 30,000 people served. And that's not everybody. I just want you all to know that and not to get upset if it's a first come, first served basis. There's also plans of taking in applications and waiting until November before those checks get up. That's what we were told. And I was like, well, I thought if we sign the legislation, the checks get issued out right away. No, it's not the case, because it has to go through back to the Budget and Finance Committee, back to Health, Education, and Human Services Committee to have the council approve a application process and the criterias. And you know how long that might take. It'll take at the earliest a week. And that's what's in that legislation. So I just wanted to end with that. And, you know, we haven't made a decision, yes or no. We're really doing our due diligence on how best to proceed and move forward on these two bills. And we heard you. We heard you. No chapters, you know, direct relief. But there's chapter houses that have been utilizing their own dollars for this pandemic as well. So, but we are hoping to have a decision by this week. So we're going to be meeting more on that, just to let you know. Thursday at 6, we'll give you an additional update. So I know that 1,000 people have been tuning in to hear probably just that segment when it comes to the relief efforts. So just to give you an update. And then on Thursday, I'll give you a rundown on what those projects that were approved for. I know I've done this at many of the town hall meetings to say this is how much is going into water, electricity, all the way down. And I'll get you that update on Thursday. So I'm going to end here. I'm going to turn the time over to Arbin Mitchell of Census. You know, prayers for our nation. You know, let's also pray for our president. You know, the Creator has mandated us to pray for our leadership, right? And that also means all the way to the White House. I didn't say it, but that's what the Creator said. And so let's continue to pray for our leaders all around the world, here on the Navajo Nation as well. And, you know, that's the direction that we were mandated to do as a human being. So God bless you. Thank you so much. We'll give you some updates. That Thursday meeting will be with Biden and Harris. We'll be in Phoenix. Get back up here. We should be back in time for the town hall that evening. And then, yeah, I'll give you an update on that as well. So thank you so much. God bless you. And here is Arbin Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen. Arbin Mitchell, U.S. Census. Take it away.
The president, the vice president, could you need car a so young change 2020 census? No, could I need the president wait did you a young when such a whole G's don't underneath it cancel the October 31st. It's got a hit on October 5th, named it last week. Junday about it in the October 31st and Kanayitla. A co a hat or not on I don't need so doesn't change what this side. I don't want such a whole Gija. Need a president Yajon, a self response got Nigi. And he not lagi 22% as of Sunday. And non-response follow-up. Not lagi Kadlata A Nidal Katandanix. We're at 86.4% as of yesterday. 86.4. So we need like 14% more to get to 100%. The 800 Nidal Katandanix and the other Natana Oklagi. The next switching that's totally catching hold to show 100%. It is neat. Although within the state of Arizona, they're like 96%. Although that there's 2 ACO offices within New Mexico, they're both at 97%. Lego the office go they're in the mid-90s. They're in the mid-90s. 86.6. 86.4% everyone's all you cut. And then Nishigi oya but the more ye 80 binina oya catered in the clean. Either ya put ancient next week it's probably. A hot I don't need president ya agency. Fortifies agency, Chinle, Western, Eastern, Northern. Hot response rate again. Let me go over some chapters. There's 38 census tract within the Navajo Nation. The Twana they have been doing pretty well the last couple of weeks. They're at 33.7%. 33.7%. On the Nahatatzi, Lupton, they're at 32.2%. The Winderock, they're at 30.7%. Delcon, Tisto, White Cones, and then Wells at 27.5. At 27.1. Sayat, Rock Spring, Church Rock, Pinedale, Yambito. So those are some tracks that are doing pretty well. Ada ya and the Aya or Shahan, the Dishney, Ayat and the Kudo Ayat and the census. Wayat Kigi, not Ani no Shingiado, Sagi. Make sure that you tell your relatives, your neighbors to keep answering the census. Ato Kahat and Nagi, and the Aya Adanidal, Nance and Gito, Ada. Although other tribal, just to see what other tribes are at right now. Arizona, Navajo, we're at 22%. Hopi, 18.8. Fort Apache, 24.6. St. Carlos, 17.3. So those are some tribes that have a size a little similar to Navajo. Some tribes up north, Crow at 19%. The Pine Ridge at 21.8, Rosebud at 24.2, Sioux Nations up there. The Cheyenne River, 29%. So just to give you some idea on where we're at with other tribes, President Shahab in addition. In September, we went to the 33 chapters food distribution that no the line card at the on the speaker's office question or cab at the Disney. Although at chapter no Shiniko, the how the house it never had a shaggy so cab. Although Kodo enough Kodo nine not saying a cab, you see the Schneedol, Kodoka, the Nanate, I give it a person he's traded. I had no behind that. On the Nanate, I give it a not only one that had so. Not only in the in Kayaki. The could not the Nabania, no other, not only in that second later. On the Nate, I give is Nate, I give it a base or in that jaded Asha. Oh, Shad get Disney. And I could also in the October 31st, the Hanhot, and the objects for the occasion, then the objects for Iliado, and the immediate president, on it, I wait the jet and behind the appeal, they leg it, but they could not of Sato, in the export, it otherwise, you didn't need all this, you did put it in strong. Although she was just changing on it, although Naga doesn't although a cat get the Schneedol, 2020 census. Don't then hit the line dashness. Don't but I don't see a year base of that lady. Don't the Kudo a but since ye, Kudo a back to school, you see the a year, as it's years, and a cat get the Schneedol, although cat down on the Kudo. Thank you very much.
Ni don non identity ani kwadi Dr. Jill Dimin chair kwadi look on so twatini passes chin do a shin does it say dot as a funny does the know with us stands so do it's each by yan day because in do kwadi October non kwayos coffee I don't coach a no holidays DJ kwadi guys much ani kwadi had non kadi ni do don he not only President Nas do kwadi Mr. Mitchell Kwadi here, Kwadi, Hanana Ziggy, Kwadi, the Cosson Sagi, non states other Kwadi hanna endel inti na kitchen at leho tatin daan na siya. Kwadi the question shagi non states at the ati ko na linto kwadi ba da hani jendo kwadi curfew haliani atin da in the into kwadi non the not the more the more yajigo non kwadi 57-hour lockdown non do kwadi the question shagi not niki ati kwadi quishin gidan ati beta not do kwadi yago at the needs in and das kagi the quick is anything that in the show kwadi the neck kwadi but the neki what the nice of condo or is it ingoshin it's not that call it a Di kwadi non I don't quite not kid not kind on the shigi kwadi messages in the into at the quite any lot contact is done hit the nedo di dot and hit chiton his zo but the kwadi because on that into then that keda but the hawan the the kahada with up take on the kedo wana the he gaha do kumpaganigi Asian benown the quiet chinto has it but that's follow I at eto quieti to behos in the haiti the kosoleni quieti non quiet flu season do hatne do that yeah go behos and then the quiet flu shot see quieti eta quieti is it and the flu shots quiet yon da kedo quieti ultra the shin kind ben mista hadna sto quieti website ki has zo nit put the sleep do flu vaccine under Department of Health ki there is get your flu shot stay healthy and get your flu shot because flu shot flu vaccine do the question chagi do ha etc in the yeda the other question yanigi ba vaccine ako the COVID vaccine ato ato the ankin get the negative as and ato question hit hodneta ako the flu vaccine ko website under DOH Department of Health different service units is in the tabaka adon like his conduct but the thing is conduct Chimbe High School the Pinyan Unified School District non acquisition non next week but acquisition Pinyan Health Center chair I'll be what the cosi big Biniyan Chinley do Shaley do with acquisition at the car Crown Point non Fort Defiance so quite chapter house the the thing is called Hotel Medical Center a drive-through flu shop Winter Rock High School the scene quite night the sawmill the wide rooms that any clean the car don't enjoys the Gallup service unit the UNM parking lot a creature the car the Gallup Indian Medical Center they are called creature Adon lady non clienta de non do kaeti is in the do inscription house parking lot health center the car do on the clienta health center clinic do shiprock service unit non the a kaeti chapter houses the car the just a kaeti co chapter house the car Adon like his car a total con chapter house the car although what the only Tuba City service unit for things conduct that they quite Tuba City High School parking lot and then other only kids on that thought quite the Sacred Peaks Health Center for car. The other knows all houses quite the chapter house the cruising of the car DC internet under Department of Health addition that the North Inc. Windsor Health Center a cruising the car. The Alamo is the in the by appointment only because the Sage Memorial Campus is on Lake Kwati can get the Kwati State Memorial Hospital there. A Kwati Kwati a Dodge and your 5,000 done there, a Dodge and your 5,000 and the Kwati Shin hit the Nashing Kwati Bastados Neti get your flu shot Kwati schedule because if you had non the Kwati is as any Kwati it's a hotel yila. Although the non the in your 5,000 done under the Department of Health, there's a COVID-19 dashboard. Although the at down die quite update the law la do count the bakati extend the though that's in your 5,000 done that the dashboard have any quality has it adi on shawan in unit and that's by service unit. A count the bakat quality could produce a quality is for the number is the bakat they change so. So thank you everyone for joining. I'm just showing you guys the dashboard. It might be easier for me to explain this in English. So this is the overall Navajo Nation dashboard. It is developed by Tableau with the Navajo Epicenter and several individuals that within the Health Command Operations Center. So it's user friendly. Basically, you just click on these areas and it can show you the different trending lines, and it also moves. The data also moves with the different areas across the Navajo Nation, and there is variability across the Navajo Nation. You'll probably recognize that there could be age group differences, and also we don't have gender differences on here, but you can see that the trending could be quite different compared to areas across the Navajo Nation. I always consider the Navajo Nation as more of a like if we were a 51st state, these are different counties that we have. So it kind of gives you an idea of what each community has dealt with when their peak was and whatnot in comparison to the weekend lockdowns or the complete 32-hour lockdowns. And then they had complete 57-hour lockdowns, and now we're back to 57. I think it's very informal, and you can get up-to-date information about cases on the Navajo Nation. So if you click here, I'll take you back to the entire home site here, and then you should be able to see everything. I know when this was first launched, President Nez was wanting to share this, but I hope today you're able to see some of this information. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go over to the regular slides that I'll share as well, just prevention messages as well. So there's always room to improve your everyday routine. And sometimes you just need a reminder that every day we continue to wear a mask, social distance 6 feet, wash your hands, and disinfect common areas as well. So those could be vehicles or workspaces or at home, doorknobs or either refrigerator handles, your phone. Those are highly touched surfaces that you use every day, and to do them on a regular basis. When you're at work, you could clean your keyboard. When you're in your vehicle, you can clean your steering wheels or your door handles. So those are common places that we should think of. It's still around first of the month, so I would suggest that when you do go out and travel, continue to look at your risk of traveling outside the Navajo Nation and asking yourself several questions. If you are going to be maintaining social distancing, if others and that will be traveling with you are likely to get sick, or when you do return, are those other individuals likely to get sick, and then are you prepared to quarantine? So those are just some common questions to ask yourself when you're out and about, and if it's necessary to travel. I mean, we're not saying no to travel during the week, but you can probably just look at what your essential needs are when you go out traveling, as we are still in a shelter in place. So if you really need to get food, of course, it's allowable, doing your laundry. All of those are essential things. And I guess to keep everyone safe, and there are several clusters that we're still experiencing across the Navajo Nation. So I think that we need to continue to be vigilant, because it's the clusters are happening than the original clusters that we identified over a week or so ago. So you might have to ask yourself questions when you want to be around people, because either you either test positive or not sometimes, but when you do test positive, there might be some hesitation of individuals or not really wanting to be around you because they're like, oh, when can I be around this person? Or as an individual, you might be asking when you want to be around others, and either people might think you're still contagious or not. So if you do have symptoms, make sure you are at least 10 days since the symptoms first appeared, which is either a flu, a headache, cough, muscle aches, or some common symptoms that are among COVID-19 patients. And then at least 24 hours since last fever without use of fever-reducing medication. So that your symptoms have definitely improved and reduced, and also that you haven't had a fever, that you need to tend to a fever by taking ibuprofen or Tylenol. So those are some general guidelines for being around individuals. So a day after you test positive, you should still consider yourself really contagious. And so it's very important to use these guidelines from CDC. And for those that aren't showing symptoms, those are often individuals we identify as asymptomatic. So 10 days have passed since your test, even though you're not showing any symptoms. And there are individuals that might show very mild symptoms or not, and then that there is no continued symptoms after the 10 days of your testing positive. So those are just some general guidelines. And then if you are around someone with COVID, you make sure you have to quarantine. The general rule that we kind of use is that you've been no longer with anyone in a close proximity, 6 feet or less, and I usually say 3 feet or less for mine, and also 15 minutes or longer. So when you are around someone that's COVID positive, just ensure that you are using those guidelines to quarantine or not. Also, avoiding large gatherings. So right now, due to the shelter in place, there shouldn't be any large gatherings like flea markets. Family celebrations should be avoided. There's no in-person church services. So just know that any kind of large gathering, I guess you could consider going to the mall or some other area as a large gathering, but they're all in one area. So, for yourself, you could use alternative ways to shop online or other areas. And mainly, we want to protect our elders and those with underlying health conditions. And all the preventive measures need to be taken place if you accidentally end up in a place where you are in a situation in a large gathering. And you can always take some precautions by washing your hands, staying 6 feet away, discouraging handshaking and hugs, avoiding sharing food, and also you can celebrate with a phone or video call, like I mentioned before. And when you're out in the town getting ready for the 57-hour lockdown, just make sure if you're with your elders this week, continuing to provide, get essential items for your household. Wear gloves or use disinfectant wipes after you use the gas handle and buttons. Also limit using cash as much as possible, and also clean and disinfect items purchased from the gas station. And then throwing away your gloves after you fuel up your vehicle, and then wash your hands for at least 20 seconds when you get home. And then you might be also doing laundry this week, during the week before the lockdown. So if you are, you can continue to make sure that you disinfect tables or carts or machines. If you have that availability as a disinfectant wipe, or I don't know if the laundromat would have some sort of cleaning for you, or you can ask it to be cleaned as well, just to make sure. And then washing your hands after you handle dirty clothes, and also wearing gloves if you need to. Especially if you are living with someone that did have coronavirus, make sure you don't shake your dirty laundry, and use the warmest wash cycle as possible, and use gloves, and also wear a mask as well. And use a dryer or hang your clothes in direct sunlight until dry if that's the case, and also staying 6 feet away from others while you're in the laundromat. We also all deal with grief differently. We are back in the phase of a shelter in place, and we are doing very well in controlling our numbers, where it looks like they're not continuing to peak. But with that, We're asking a lot of you, to do this, and then also at the same time, I think we are protecting everyone else by staying in place and not moving around. But that might be something that we miss, is having the ability to move around, and that could cause some stress that you have changes in your daily life, or you have to make cancellations on certain things that you had planned for. Other issues that are continuing with COVID, or job issues, or safety issues, financial issues. Just know that we do have a behavioral health line that you guys can call as well during the day and weekend through the Navajo Regional Behavioral Health Center. But in the meantime, you can practice self-care, give yourself time to heal, reach out to family and friends, find support, and take care of your body by taking deep breaths, stretching, or meditating. So I just wanted to thank everyone for listening to these messages again as we continue to deal with the pandemic. So ata hasiato kashi akuichin hilakanda kesto it's on da keton hitinton hize patata despado ashi kuichin hawadon hitchin biget da kaen da to put ashi the question sagid nast eight atato don kiddo nata so ashi what echo kadi if you had non kidi ni donan kada isne ahadi. And thank you very much for listening, everyone. I just wanted to remind everyone to take the preventive measures of taking care of yourself and washing your hand, wearing your mask, and every other message that we have to protect ourselves, our elders, our community, and the Navajo people. Ikehet.